Welcome to the Kenyan student. Today we're going to be looking at step-by-step guide on how to apply for courses via the KUCCPS portal. Okay, so the first things first is to get to the KUCCPS portal, whereby you will talk about KUCCPS. You just see it in the options there. Just type KUCCPS portal. Then you get the student login, and then you'll get this very famous interface. Okay, so this particular point, there are need that you require before even you start to log in. There are things that you need. One is your KCSE index number, as you can see. The other one is the KCSE here, which you did. If you did in 2024, that's what you're going to write here. Then the password is basically your birth certificate number or your KCPE index. That is what you're going to be using even to date. And then also you need, of course, a working phone, a working laptop. And you realize that we are using a laptop, and therefore it might be different to those who are using their phones. Slightly different in terms of how it appears, the aesthetics, that is. Then of course you need some data bundles, Wi-Fi, and some little patience, because it's gonna take a bit of time, but you're going to get a lot of value out of this particular show. So the first things first is write our KCC index number. Index number there. Then we indicate the year. The year was 2024 for this specific candidate. Then we put the password. That is the password there. Then you click submit or just enter. This is the first things that you emit, and this is what we call the dashboard. This is what now you will have everything, right? And let's first of all familiarize ourselves with what we shall see in this particular first page. So the first things first is, of course, a welcoming note to the KUCCPS Students Portal, and then you can be able to do a lot of things here. So as you can see, they are indicating to you that the deadline is April 30th, 2025. This is the initial application, and you can see it even down here. So ensure that you make your application or you submit your application before the deadline. Then also for the TVET programs, the same deadline, and as well for the diploma teachers training colleges, right? From there, you find something else here, very, very important. You find them giving you the number of institutions that are there in this portal. Okay, the first things first, as you can see, is the public universities. These ones, you know them, they are 40 in number. Things like UN, KU, I mean Moi, and so forth and so on. Then there is one Open University of Kenya. This Open University of Kenya, or what they have referred here as OUK, this one was created in order to bridge the gap of the student ratio in the campuses, and they issue to do with physical limitations. And therefore, what happens in this Open University of Kenya, you apply, you get selected, you join, but you don't join there physically. You'll be attending classes online. They're 100% online. That's why it's Open University of Kenya, to try and bridge that gap. Okay. So for them, they're eligible for government scholarship and help loan. This is very, very important. If you happen to go to public universities through KUCCPS, I say that because you can get to public universities via private sponsorship, or people call module 2 students. Okay, but if you decide to get through KUCCPS, you will be able to get the government scholarship and the help loan. Okay, then you'll be able also to get there are also private universities in this particular portal, 29 in number, including MKU, Uzima, and so forth and so on, right? Here you'll only be eligible for a HEB loan, not a government scholarship. So once you apply to a private university, you'll not be able to get to government scholarship, but you'll get the HEB loan. Okay. Of course, I know there have been issues around, the funding model and so forth, and we even have a video that I'm gonna put in the description just for you to familiarize yourself with what has been happening in the country. Then we have public colleges that are under what we call parent ministries, especially the Ministry of Education, and they are 263 in number, the TVET ones. Then we have other that are under other ministries, including KMTC, which is under uh, ministries such as Ministry of Health, others are the Ministry of Transport, and so forth and so on. They are just colleges, and they are there. Then we also have that university vet. What this means is that you might find, for instance, in Kenyatta University, they have a KUT vet, whereby you can go and do a diploma still in KU. So you'll be saying you're in KU, but you're doing a diploma. That's what we mean by university TVET. And you will see them in this particular tutorial, right? So from them, you'll be able to see these three things here. One is where you have your details. So you will find your name here. You'll find your index number, your gender, your citizenship, and the school that you attended. Then you'll find your KCSE results, very well displayed here. Then you'll also find what we call a cluster calculator. So your clusters have already been calculated, and these clusters are grouped according to the courses, according to fields. For instance, the field of law, the field of medicine, and so forth and so on. We have done a full video to differentiate between clusters and cutoff. You will put again a link in the description for you to go and watch if you have not watched it. And it's so super amazing. And how I wish you watch this even immediately after this. But don't worry, we're also going to be mentioning a few things here and there to remind us what they really mean. Once you're familiarized yourself with that, we get to the institution tab. So in these institutions, you can be able to actually click here, and you'll be able to find any university, any college that you want to actually go and study. For instance, I will be using the main universities and the main courses in this tutorial just to make it more common to most of us. Of course, I know most of us know your when, most of us know medicine as a degree, law, and so forth, so that we can be able to understand exactly what we mean. So if I want to maybe search for UON, I will just write UON and then search for it. I will just go in and okay, don't know what is happening to it. Maybe I can try that. Okay, yeah, it's already here. I don't know why I was not checking. So the University of Nairobi. And then once I do that, it will show me all the courses that University of Nairobi is offering for this particular intake. All of them will be here. So this is one of the ways that we shall be coming back. Don't worry, we shall be coming back to it to check. So if you want to check a university, maybe you've decided I only want to go to University X. So that's where you come and check the degrees that they have. Okay, but you may decide, you know what, I actually want to check a specific course, right? So or under specific degree. So there are two ways again here. I can just come directly here and say I want to do medicine, for instance, right? So I want to do medicine, then I will click the enter button there. Then it will show me those degrees under medicine, or the ones that have the wording medicine. You can see veterinary medicine, clinical medicine, Bachelor of Science, Bachelor of Medicine, Bachelor of Surgery. So maybe I will click this. Once I do that, it will take me to another page here. And now this is very important. I will be coming back to this in a while. This is just to show you exactly what you expect. And then now here, other than showing you, okay, instead of showing you one university and all the courses, now it will be showing you the same course in different universities. Egerton, JQuat, KEMU, all these universities are offering medicine course, and we shall be coming to see what exactly is the definition on this other side, right? From there, we go to the program list. So if you want to get to find you want to see all the degree programs, it will take you to another page, of course, after we have downloaded it. So here I can check, I can see we have a Bachelor of Arts in Egerton. I can go on to check Bachelor of Science, Industry, and so forth and so on. All these are all the degrees you can imagine, you can think of there in that particular um, PDF that you can get from the program list. Okay, this one is for the teachers training colleges programs. Those who are applying for TTC, you can come to this tab here, and again you'll be taken to diploma in primary teacher education, and you just have to click this. And I don't know whether it's working. I tried it before. Yeah, it's working actually. You can be able to see um uh, how you can be able to apply to it. Yeah, and that is it. I think once you are done with that, this is OUK. I had shown you this. This is the Open University of Kenya. And if you want to apply to this course, you will have to click here. This, we are going to make a totally different video to take care of this, and those who want to take this route, because I know it is not the majority of us. So let's get back to where we were. The other tab here, remember we are still exploring what exactly is in this portal. We also have the application and revision. This is where you will be doing your application. Okay, so you can read these many stories, but once you watch this video, then you will have covered everything that you need to know from this story. Then there is application history. If you've ever applied before, this is where you will find your application history. For this candidate, there is no application. That is good. And the application log and so forth and so on. Then there is the course basket. So okay, something I forgot for the application and the revision portal tab there. That's where you also do your revisions. This reminds me that it's important to remind you that we have the primary application, which is currently. Then after this, if you are not able to get a course, we shall have what we call a first revision. If you're not able to get it at that point again, we shall have a second revision. And if you okay at that point, you will not now fail. They will have to put you somewhere. They will have to put you somewhere. But if you not be interested now, we shall have what we call a transfer. And that's where we shall come to this portal. Okay. But as now we have a course basket. So all the courses that we shall like, we shall be adding them to this basket. That's why we shall come and check. So like e.g. this student had already decided, okay, maybe I may want to do a Bachelor of Science in Electrical and Electronics Engineering. So this is where that particular course was put. And it is important to put them here so that you can just come here and have an overview of them. And we shall discuss this in details much later. So then finally, we have the transfer application um, table here. The applicant, you're not eligible for the online interinstitutional transfer simply because we are not yet there. We are not yet there. The transfer application window has not been opened. But I will show you an example at the end of this tutorial of a certain candidate who went on to apply, failed to get whatever he wanted, went on to apply for the interinstitutional transfer and was actually successful, and the pros and cons of going that route. Then from there, we also have the downloads tab. This is basically a replica of the program lists. You want to see again all the degrees or the TVET programs, the cutoff points, you can be able just to click here and you'll be able to download those particular documents. Yeah, the other important thing that I wanted you to know from the dashboard is a couple of things here. You can be able to see the basket. This is just a shortcut of this course basket, right? If you click here, it will just take you back to the course basket. The settings tab, important, very important to note here. The settings tab is a tab where you will indicate your email, the guardians, the phone number, the parents' phone number. And this is very important, because if you miss or if you miss this particular program, this particular details here, then it means that you'll not be able to get the updates once they send to you those particular updates. Okay, so that's also very important to note there. So I think we have been able to cover all uh, everything that you need to know about the interface and everything. Maybe something else I have forgotten to tell you is about logging out. If I want to log out, I will just have to click log out here, so that I log out of this particular portal. It is very important, especially for those who are using they are going to the cyber to do these particular applications, and it is important to leave your portal safe by logging out. Good. So let's go step by step. So once we are done with exploring the dashboard, let's now go to the choosing the courses. How do I get to choose my course? So I told you there are two ways. You can either go the institution way or the program. I want to use the program way because it's much more friendlier to use. So I want to select, let's say, medicine, because that's what most people want to do. I mean, out here, I want to do medicine. Let's get to it, and let's get to even know the mistakes that people do when applying for this particular course. So the first things that you get to see once you click that course is what you call the minimum entry requirements. You get here, minimum entry requirements. It shows that this candidate, it's first of all, you have to ask yourself, do you meet the requirements? So for you to do medicine in this country, in Kenya, you have to have biology, you have to have done it first, leave alone even the grade, you have to have done it. So if you don't have biology, you don't have chemistry, forget about medicine and forget about it for good. Then the same case, mathematics or physics. This means that they will either pick mathematics or physics, one of them, the best performed. Then cluster 4, they can pick any other. This is the minimum entry requirements. Okay. Then we have what we call minimum subject requirements. This means that you have to get a B plane in these subjects. This is a minimum. Okay. It doesn't matter whether you had an airplane of, because you can actually have an airplane of 84 points, but one subject that was not counted, maybe for instance biology, you had a B minus. You cannot do medicine despite that airplane of 84. It is very much possible to have an airplane of 84, but the subject that was not counted was biology and it had a B minus. I mean, you cannot do medicine. However much you may want to do, even as a private sponsored student. Is that tough? Is that real? So let's get here. So once I get to see these courses, these are the universities, the institution type, is it public university, private university, then the program code. These codes are very, very important because once I identify, I want to do this particular medicine in Egerton University, this is the code that I will put in my application portal, in my application tab. So let's get to see this candidate has a cluster weight of 38.010. This cluster weight is specific to this course or to this line of courses. So all courses that are dealing with health sciences, this candidate, maybe let's call this candidate X. Candidate X has this cluster weight in the medicine courses. We shall see how this will change when we go to law, for instance. Okay. So you can see in Egerton, this candidate had 38. He has a cluster of 38, but the cutoff in other years have been 44.5, 44.0. My advice to this candidate is don't pick this university because you will not get it. These are difference of almost is it 7 or 6? Is 6, right? Imagine that's a very big difference. Even a small difference of 0.9 can mess you up. And once you look at these details very clearly, you will actually come to realize that this candidate cannot actually do medicine. Um, let's say this year under the CUPS. Maybe as a privately sponsored student, that one is very much possible because he has already met the minimum requirements. But as so far of the cutoff points, he is way down the cutoff points, and therefore, if you are having such a course, don't go for it. Okay, but maybe for the sake of explanation, let me add this. For instance, let me take a University of Nairobi. You know, the cutoff was 45, and then you find someone has a 38 and still going on to apply for it. I mean, with the aim of hope. As I told you, I will be showing you an example of a certain candidate who went on and did that and did not be able to get um, these courses and almost messed himself up. So let's add that. So once I click this add button, we have added it to the application basket. This application basket here. Okay, we are going to review it much later. Let's look for another course, law, for instance. I want you to see the change in the clusters of this candidate. He had 38.010. This it is in the medicine courses. Let's see for the law whether it will still remain to be the same. So when you go to law, we have a bachelor's of law here, bachelor of laws actually. Once we see the we have a change of minimum entry requirements. So you just have to have an English or Kiswahili, then a mathematics, biology, physics. They will pick one here. Then the cluster subject they will pick another. I mean, we had done an exclusive video about this. That's why I don't want to really get into the details. You can watch the video that I had already uploaded, and you will get to understand what exactly we mean here. But the minimum subject entry here is English or Kiswahili. You have to have a B. That means that if both of these subjects, if both of them you did not get a B, you have a B minus and below, you cannot do law in this country, whether by private means or CUCCPS, you cannot do. So let's get to see. You can see the cluster weights have changed. For medicine, it was 38 point something, but for law, it has changed to that 7.579, simply because the cluster subjects have changed. Okay, that's what it means. So again, let's see whether we can be able to do law here. In this African Nazarene University, is a private university. Remember, if it is a private, you can only get help from the government, no scholarship. Let's see. 2023 candidates, it was at 4.715. And by the way, the reason why there is no 2024 is because, if of course, if you are watching in 2025, is because we are expecting you to apply this course and generate the cutoff. So those candidates who sat for KCSE in 2024 are the ones who are going to generate the cutoff for that year. Okay. So the cutoff for 2023 was 34, 2022 was 34 here. And for him, he had 37.579, this candidate X. That's amazing. That means that you can actually go on and apply for this course, okay, because the chances are very high that is going to secure that post. Let's check for a competitive university, University of Nairobi here. Cutoff was 42.014 in 2023. In 2022 it was 41, and the candidate has 37. If you dare apply for this course, you not get it. That one I'm giving you for a fact. The difference is too wide, because look at this. Actually, it seems that the cluster points are actually you know, in the upward trajectory, apart from a few universities like this. That's what I'm saying. If you are to select it, let the difference be very minimal, not a very big difference like the one we have here. But if it's a difference of 0.9, pretty much 1, you can maybe you know, put your foot forward and try to see whether it matches. But as you can see, most of them, we are actually having a spike in terms of the cluster points. Most of them, we are having a spike. Okay, so it will be wise for you if you go for those courses that only um, suit your cluster weights. Let's have the final example in this course. We can have an example we can have an example in computer science, for instance, in science, in computer science and mathematics. So let's have that. Science in uh computer science, science in computer science. Yeah, and let's see whether this candidate is eligible to have such a course. Very good. I want to take bachelor's of science in computer science and mathematics. Let's see. You can see the cluster has changed again. This is 37.7 flat, the other one that's 7.7 with a few other decimals there. So you see here we have minimum subject requirements. That means that I have to get a C plus in mathematics and above, physics a C plus and above, English or Kiswahili a C plain, one of them and above. If I fail to do that, then I cannot be able to do this course. Do I qualify? Let's see. In JQuat, I have a cluster of 37. JQuat cut off people in 2023 with 36 and 36.4 in 2022. That means that I actually qualify for this course. Not really qualifying, but I'm competitive because I have already qualified. It's just that it's a question of whether you are competitive or not. So in this case, I'm actually competitive, right? So I can go on and add that to my basket, right? That is good. So I've already added it. I can decide, okay, because this is my most preferred choice, this is what I want to do, this is what I feel like I have to do it, and I'm very competitive in it. I will remember I will need three uh, universities doing the same course. So if I've decided to do Bachelor of Science in Computer Science and Mathematics, then it means I will need to select the same course in three universities. So for me, I will take JQuat. Then I will come and take, let me see. I can also go to KU. So because I have a 37.7 and the cutoffs have been at 35, so it means I'm eligible. I can add that. That's amazing. Then I can also check around, yeah, maybe I can go to multimedia as well. I can go to multimedia because I'm way above the cutoff, so I'm very much competitive. I can add that to the basket. Okay, and that is basically how you end up choosing your courses. So these courses, we can check them at the basket, the courses that we have been selecting. So these ones were selected even before we started. I wanted to see the courses that we have done. For instance, this one, Bachelor of Medicine and Bachelor of Surgery, we have already put it in the basket. The minimum requirements, Scoops will tell you that you meet the minimum requirements for this course. Processing will be on merit. That is where now the term comes in, that processing will be on merit. That word simply means, are you competitive? How many people, what competition, the kind of competition you are facing? How many people are above you with higher cluster weights? And that's where now the danger comes in. Okay, so I would rather agree we remove this particular course because we are not gonna get it. That one is given, right? Let's check this. Let's check for law. For instance, hello, I'm eligible for this, right? But if I go to this university, then it means that I only have a loan. So if I'm not able to get sponsorship from my guardians or parents, then this might be a bad choice for me. I've also chosen mathematics and computer science. That's Bachelor of Science. Am I eligible? Yes, this one I was very much eligible. Very much eligible. So this is where now those courses will appear. Okay. So I will advise you to actually note them down. So what will you be noting down? You'll be noting down these codes because these codes are the ones that we're going to be using in our application table, our application tab here. And that is going to be our next step. Are you ready? Yeah, so kindly note them down. For instance, for me, I've decided that I will take Bachelor of Science in Mathematics and Computer Science. That's what I've done. I've taken GQuat. That will be my first option. Then I will take KU as my second option. Then I will take Multimedia as my third option. Okay, those will be my number ones. Then you'll have to apply. Let me take you there so that I'm dealing with something that you people are actually seeing and appreciating. When I see click apply now, this is what happens. You see, this is a bachelor's degree. I will be able to apply 1A, 1B, 1C. These three means you apply the same course but to different universities. Take that opportunity and go for it. Then I will also have my number two, number three, number four. These should be totally different courses from the first three. Of course, there are a lot of theories out here on how you can maximize your chances and have the same courses on from number one to number four. How true that is, I don't want to confuse you. I don't want to lie to you because I mean, these are systems. And I don't know how that works, whether it really works or not. But the point is, let's stick to what is rightful need. Because these shortcuts that people use are the ones that may end up misleading people. It's a question of are you competitive? Have you qualified for it? Right? Very good. So we go back to our course. So we've already selected the three. I just wanted to take you back to our course here, course basket. And as you can see, we have our courses down here and everything. Maybe I should show you one course that I am not eligible to do and what COOPS will tell me. Because if you're not eligible for a course, they will tell you that you don't meet the minimum requirements and you cannot go on to apply for that course because you don't really meet the minimum requirements. Let me show you an example of such a course. And how do you know of a course that you don't really apply, you don't qualify? In here, any course that you have 0.000, it means that you cannot be able to apply for those courses. So this candidate, any courses in cluster 17, cluster 18, cluster 20, or cluster 14, they cannot be able to apply for those courses. Let me show you an example of those courses here in the all programs tab. So you can be able to see here, these are the degree programs, right? I want us to go to cluster number 14. Cluster number 14, history, archaeology, and related subjects. Let's get here to these courses. Here, I have Bachelor of Arts in History. Let me click here and see what exactly they want me to do. Bachelor of Arts in Surgery. It means that I have to have a history subject with me. That's why you find Bachelor of Arts in history. In most of these courses, I cannot be able. For instance, in choir, for me to apply in this course, I actually need to have taken history as a mandatory subject. So if I place add and take it to my basket, let me see. I've already added it to my basket. Let's go back to our basket and check what we have done. We are checking the minimum requirements. So COOPS is checking the minimum requirements. You see, you don't meet the cluster or the minimum grade for this program. It's as simple as that. So any course you select, and then they tell you this means that there is a subject you did not do. There's a subject you did not do, or you did it, but you did not meet the minimum requirements. Maybe the minimum requirements were you were supposed to get a B plane in that particular subject, you ended up getting a B minus and below. You have not qualified. But you can actually have qualified, you have made the minimum requirements, but the question is, are you competitive? That's where the trick is. And that's why many people fail in this application. So go for courses that you are competitive, at least to ensure that you don't have a heartache or a heartbreak really at the end of it all. So now, without much further ado, let's now get to application part. So at the application part, I now go to apply now. Once I get to apply now, I will now come here and start filling in my degree programs. So I will start to put 124. You put you remember the codes that I told you to write before. Um, you remember those codes? I hope you remember them. Please, if you don't remember them, let me just show you one more time here. There is no harm in doing it very fast, just to show you exactly what I am talking about. These are the codes that I'm talking about. Okay, those are the codes that you need to indicate so that you are able to apply. So back to our tab here, apply now. Then out of my 6 choices I have, I will start applying whatever I have. So let me put these details here, 9309. Then it will start, it will tell me whether I am eligible or not. So there is 1111. These codes, you'll find that they are similar codes. For instance, any code that has these triple, is it triple? It's not triple. 4 ones. Actually, it is the first 5 numbers represent the code of the institution. Okay, so these codes will be any institution from Kenyatta, any course from Kenyatta University will be 1113. Then 09 is basically the number of that course in that university. Let's see. These are the course we have. This code 11643. Okay. Now that one is the code for Multimedia University. Then the code for this course is 09. You see, as I told you, Multimedia University. That is my the course I want to pick. Then I can select other courses here. For instance, I can select one 105 717 117 there. Good. I can go on to select another course here, that is mechanical engineering. Remember, it is already in my basket. I had already shown interest that I want to do it. 114. This becomes Egerton University. 616. Very good. Now, let me give you an example here. If I apply the course that I have not met the minimum requirements, because I might think I'm smart than the portal, and I want to get it. Let's see whether it will allow me to actually apply for that. You see, you don't meet the clusters or minimum grade for this program, and I don't think you can be able to submit. And even if you submit, you will just be wasting your opportunities. So that's not something I would encourage you to do. So maybe I can take another course to, maybe I can take another very competitive course here. This is now UN, and I take medicine, for instance. They will tell me you've actually met, oh, this is civil engineering, sorry, civil engineering from university. I have met the requirements, but if you go back and check for my clusters, they are way below it. And that's it. So I will then click submit. So once I click submit, now this is another question that will pop up here. Okay, whereby they will say, would you like to be placed in any other program in case you don't secure your choices? Now, this is one of those questions I say you are damned if you do and damned if you don't. Because if you say yes, then it means that that is the end of you. Because if I don't get either, if I don't get any of my whatever I applied for here, if I don't get it, they will place me in any other choice, and I will not have an opportunity to do a fast revision. Okay, if I say no, then it means that you will not be placed if you miss in all of your selected choices. That means that now I will be notified and I will be asked to do a fast application. Basically, maybe the only advantage that can go with yes, the system might try to choose for you a course, but how that will be done is the question. So these are those questions that maybe I can even call it is a rhetorical question, because either way, KUCCPS will place you somewhere. Either way, it will place you somewhere. either now or later. Okay, so it's up to you to choose your, your evil, whether yes or no. It's up to. For now, let me go no, so that maybe I'll have the opportunity to do fast application. But let me tell you, there is nothing, sorry to say this, but there is nothing quote unquote pleasing in the first choice application. And I will show you an example of a last year candidate. Just stick to this. So then they will tell me, please wait. So they will now tell me to make payment through e-citizen. Now this is where things become very very tough. So the most important thing to note here is that you note this payment reference number. You see this payment reference number, this is what you'll be using moving forward. Once KUCCPS tells you, because I will not be able to make this payment um, for personal reasons, but this payment reference, if you can be able to screenshot it, send it to as many people as you can, just put it well, because this payment reference is what you'll be using even in your revision. And once it is gone, it is gone. And this is also what you'll be using to pay as your account number. There are steps that will be shown for you. So if I am to use equity, if I'm to use M-Pesa, I think there is M-Pesa somewhere. Yes. If I'm to use M-Pesa, it will show me the number that I need to maybe put, and then from there I will basically say, I will just put in the number, then I will put in the M-Pesa pin, and then a confirmation, and so forth and so on. Then everything else we move on as proceeded. Then if I have paid, I'll go on to say that I have paid. So if I have paid, and if I've already paid, that number, the reference number that I had showed you, is what will come and place here, and then it will indeed prove whether you have paid or not, right? Once you have done that and then you click submit, you will now see something with a green tick to show you that your submission was actually successful. But of course, for now, we are not. So allow me now to show you our last example. um, Before we leave, let me show you our last example here. Allow me to open another portal for the KUCCPS. Before we conclude, I'm showing you an example of a candidate who finished in 20 previously, and this candidate made some applications there. And once this, I wanted to check out the application history. This candidate had an A minus. This candidate had an A minus, or maybe for you to believe and not say, oh, you are lying to us. This candidate had an A minus of 80 points. You can see how he had performed. And for the cluster of medicine, the medicine cluster, he had a cluster of 42.833. Let's see what he had actually, how he selected the subjects. So this is how he selected the subjects. He selected Bachelor of Medicine and Bachelor of Surgery for UON, KU, JQuat. And he went on, other than applying another course, he went on to apply for MOI. Then he applied for Bachelor of Dental Surgery in UON, Bachelor of Pharmacy in UON. I want to confirm to you that he did not get any of these courses. As you have seen before, the competition was quite high, right? Because he had a 42, he had a cluster of 42, yet majority of these starts from 43 and above. He did not get that opportunity. Okay, and therefore what happened, he had to go to what we call, this is first application, he had to go to call a second application, which is now first revision. And here, this is what I was telling you, that there is something there is nothing desirable in first revision, is that he was forced to select the remaining courses, which were these ones. These were the ones that he sat down and, so that maybe it would fit him. And as you can see, this is what he selected, and he ended up being called to a more university to do the first course, which is Bachelor of Science in Information Science. So however, this candidate went on to have a transfer um, much later on, and these are the transfer details all the way to the transfer letter, which he was able to go to Bachelor's of Laws. But as you can see here, he tried to transfer to KEMU. That application was not agreed, or it was not successful. He tried to go to KEMU as well. This was KEMU. He also had tried to go to Zima sometimes. It was not possible. And finally was able to go to law, University of Nairobi through a transfer letter or a transfer application. So these are things that we shall be talking on when we get to transfer period. But what I'm advising you is, please try as much as possible to save your programs and try to see to it that you can be able to apply to those courses that you have the high chances of getting to it. At this end, as you get to the end of this particular session, don't forget to subscribe, comment, and share it to as many people that can be able to get this information. And by that doing, we shall be moving forward. From the Kenyan student, without much further ado, we call it a day here. Thank you.